Marvel Rivals has a huge character roster, with around 35 characters and probably 37 by the time this season ends. It leaves a man wondering, who else could they even add? I mean, they have a large amount of characters in their comics, and everyone's talking about leaks and potential characters, but these are a few characters I feel like I don't see people talking about. So in this video, I'm gonna be telling you guys the characters that would break the game if they added them as playable characters. Potentially. Probably not, because the dev team knows what they're doing, but potentially. Now this is gonna be a bit more of a yappy type of video, so I mean, if you like this type of content, like, subscribe. I'm gonna be making more if you like it, because your boy got a lot of thoughts in this big old head of his. Also, I will state right now that I'm not the biggest comic nerd, so if I get a few facts wrong, let me know. Don't crucify me in the comments, bro. I'm only human, man. Anyways, let's get right into it. Starting off with a tank hero that I see absolutely nobody even thinking about. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, bro. Now let me cook. Moon Girl herself is one of the smartest minds in Marvel, and the way she meets Devil Dinosaur is by literally accidentally opening a portal, and this motherfucker just steps out of it and starts rampaging through the city. But why would I put her in the game specifically? Simple, bro. We need more female tanks, and I think she would be a great addition. Obviously, being on a big ass dinosaur, she could just have melee attacks using him. He can just be swinging his tail around, chomping on enemies. But she's also a genius, so she could also have a bunch of team supportive abilities where she would summon shields for your allies or something, or shoot out low damage dealing lasers to hurt her opponents. Obviously, I haven't thought about her abilities that much for this one. Also, this is a side note from after my recording. Bro, she's literally a 9-year-old genius who accidentally builds portals to alternate dimensions, bro. This entire game is multiverse based. We have 2 Doctor Dooms fighting for the complete control of the multiverse right now. She would be a fantastic addition to this game, but the other ones I've thought a little bit deeper on, so you gotta stay tuned for all that. But I've thought about her ultimate, and it could just be another portal to, like, she could just open that same portal where she met Devil Dinosaur, and a bunch of prehistoric beasts could just run through and deal damage along a path. Similar to Squirrel Girl's ult, but they wouldn't bounce off walls. They would just do damage in a straight line and then just disappear afterwards. Definitely my least thought out character on this list. That's why I put her first. But the rest of these characters, I've thought way more about them. I just want a dinosaur in the game, bro, and more female tanks. Now this next one is kinda crazy. Knull. Not a lot of people know about Knull, but if you know this man is crazy. He's literally the creator of the symbiote race and the creator of the Necro Sword. If you've seen Thor Love and Thunder, the sword that Gore has, that's the Necro Sword. This man Knull created that. So he'd be a pretty strong DPS. But I was thinking he could either be a strong DPS or like an off support. Cause let me cook. What if one of his abilities attaches a symbiote to you, and the symbiote would buff your damage, lightly heal you over time, and whenever you use your basic attack, it would just attack with you, similar to how Venom's weird tentacle things work. Now they would only do body shot damage, and it wouldn't be crazy amounts of damage, but some characters only need a slight bit of damage to get a kill anyways, and if you attach this man's symbiotes to a Spider-Man or like a Magic, oh, they're going crazy, bro. They're going crazy. So I could see Knull either being a DPS or a support, because again, he made the Necro Sword. That shit would not be tickling your opponents. I'm not really thinking about balancing in this game, because I know these characters would be crazy if they just added them like the way I'm saying it, but it would be incredibly fun for me specifically, because I really like the idea of characters who can fight for themselves but also support the team, like Zenyatta from Overwatch or Adam Warlock. I've been seeing a lot of Adam Warlock mains coming out of the woodworks recently. Maybe they vibe with this character. I don't know. Now for this next one, I've been seeing a few people talk about this character, but here's what I think they would do if they did add him. Quicksilver, bro. Marvel's speedster, who kind of gets shit on, I'm not gonna lie. His death in the MCU made no sense. It made no sense. But if they added him to Marvel Rivals, obviously he'd be fast as hell, but in a way that they could simplify it down in video game standards, they would probably give him an ability where you tap on it to activate it, and it would just be like a straight line. And when you press confirm or whatever, you just teleport at the end of that straight line, as if you were to move in super speed. He'd probably get like 2 or 3 of these at a time, but that would be his form of like just a quick movement ability. And maybe the dashes would do some damage whenever you hit somebody with them, just like quick damage. I don't see why they wouldn't. And for his basic attacks, he would probably just have rapid punches. But for this next ability, I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from like Iron Man. Maybe he could enter like a running state where he's just pretty fast. He's like faster than Luna Snow, but like not by much, because I mean, he is Quicksilver, he has to run. But while he's in this running state, he can't really do anything else besides like punch. So he would have to leave his running state before like doing another ability. So I mean, take that as you will. He would obviously be a duelist. I don't see Quicksilver being a tank or a support unless he's running to the back line to heal an ally, but I don't see him being a support. And maybe while he's in his running state, he can take like 30% less damage. Maybe Quicksilver's ultimate could be him running in a circle really fast and just like doing a lot of damage in that circle, kind of like Moon Knight, but enemies caught in the circle can't move or are slowed down tremendously. So kind of like a mixture of Moon Knight ult and Storm ultimate. I don't know. He would be broken if they added him to the game though. Now this next one, I'm really excited for. I hope they add this to the game, just because it sounds so fun, but it sounds so broken. Let me cook. War Machine, bro. And not just your standard typical, oh, he's just Iron Man, but a little bit bigger with guns on his back. No, this War Machine would be a flying tank. All right, hold up, don't click off the video yet. So he wouldn't just be like Iron Man where he's always flying, he's constantly flying. No, I kind of want him to be more grounded, because if he was constantly flying, he would just be too strong. And when I explain the rest of his kit to you, you would not want this man constantly flying either. Now I'm mainly taking inspiration from the Iron Man Armored Adventures cartoon from way back in the day. War Machine is just bulky, he's huge, he's like 2.5 times bigger than Iron Man. Now for his basic attacks, they would just be like his arm guns that he shoots. It wouldn't be like those AoE repulsor blasts like Iron Man has in the game. It would just be like, you know, bullets. Now his secondary fire, maybe they would be repulsor blasts, but they would be like in a smaller radius and they would do a lot less damage, especially on direct hit. But here's where his kit gets really interesting for me. You would have a button you would press where you would just enter your enhanced mode, similar to Iron Man's, except this one makes War Machine start flying constantly. Like in a hover mode, he has all of his guns out and he has like increased damage, increased health. He's just going crazy. He's like shooting out tiny rockets that kind of home in but don't do like crazy damage, and he's just got a bunch of guns on his back and shooting around. But that wouldn't even be his ultimate. His ultimate would be similar, except he has the minigun on his back that homes in for you while you can manually shoot on your own. So it's like you have a support on your back shooting enemies for you. Kind of think of it as like a Star-Lord ultimate mixed with a Punisher ultimate, but nerfed down like crazy, because if those two combined, it would just be too strong. It would be way too strong. So just think of those two combined, but the damage is nerfed down like a fuck ton. War Machine's ultimate could either be that, or he could just be in the flying state again, but except this time he's faster moving, and he could fly above enemies and drop like little rockets down on them and just rain down like bullets and hell in the path that he's moving. But yeah, I really hope they add this, because I want a flying tank. It would just be a weird concept. It'd be pretty strong. I don't know how strong it would be, because he wouldn't be flying all the time. He would just be in the air for like a few seconds, like 7 seconds, 10 seconds maybe not 10 seconds, that's a little long. But yeah, also another ability he could have is just a little self shield for himself, because why not? It's Stark tech, bro. But I mean, the self shield wouldn't be that crazy strong. Now for another support character that I don't really see people talking about is Nick Fury, bro. Now Nick Fury wouldn't be like your typical support hero. He wouldn't have like a normal attack where you can heal your allies like Luna Snow or Cloak and Dagger. His normal attack would just be his traditional pistol. It wouldn't do crazy damage, but I mean, if you got good aim, it does good damage, similar to Hulk. But I mean, it would be hit scan because it's a pistol. His healing would come in the form of like little robotic drones that he would call out to like heal your allies. He could have like 2 healing drones at a time, and then like 2 like buffing drones at a time. And his ultimate could be like, it could be the helicarrier, and it would just like rain down a bunch of bullets and rockets that heal and damage whoever's in the radius of it. One of his abilities could even just be like him summoning a shield agent that would just like be on the field with you shooting enemies. They're like really squishy to kill. They're probably like 200 HP, 180 HP, and they would only have like little blasters, nothing really crazy. But it would just be cool if you just added like a 7th character to your team that doesn't really do much, similar to Torbjorn, except well, they would move around. And here's where we get to a crazy character. If you saw the thumbnail, you know. And I don't think he could even be added to the game necessarily. He just has way too much in his bag. Thanos. Now, if they somehow managed to add Thanos as a playable character, this would be crazy because his kit would have to surround him gathering the Infinity Stone somehow, either by doing damage or like filling a meter. And each time he gets a new stone, that stone adds something to his kit. So he could start off basic as hell. He just only has like melee attacks. Maybe he even has his sword from the Endgame movie. I don't know about the sword. Maybe he's just a brawler. He has nothing in his bag yet. He only has fists. And then like once he does a certain amount of damage, it ramps him up. That would be a really cool tank idea, a ramp up tank. Each stone would add something different. Like the power stone would just like give him a self buff. Like he does a little bit more damage now with his basic attacks, but it would also add damage to all his other abilities too. So maybe he can get the power stone like somewhere last. Or an idea I just thought of right now, he could get the stones randomly at a time. That way it would be harder to predict what Thanos is about to throw at you. And obviously there should be some kind of indicator like surrounding his body, showing what stones he has already, just so he's not completely washing you. The Mind Stone could be like maybe a buff to his allies. The Reality Stone would be a cool one that I don't think they're going to add to any other character, but an ability to rebuild the map, because you can destroy the map in this game. What if he could just rebuild parts of the map using the Reality Stone? It doesn't do any damage, that's all it does. It could be on a long cooldown similar to Doctor Strange's portal, but what if it just rebuilds the map? Because some parts of the map take a little while to break, like that one Wakanda map. The Time Stone could be pretty self-explanatory. It could just like be like a little AoE freeze similar to Wanda's bubble thing, her chaos control, or it could just be like a big orb he sets on the ground that would speed up your allies but slow down enemies. There's a lot they could do with Thanos. I also think they could just add a Thanos game mode where it's a 6v6 and one person on the enemy team is Thanos and they have to help him get the stones, similar to I guess the Fortnite event. Oh, I don't like to compare this to Fortnite, but that's what I can think of. You just have to stop him from getting the stones, and if he gets all the stones, obviously you lose. Yeah, there's so much they can do with Thanos, but I'm getting off track. Let me get back to his abilities. The Soul Stone, he could even bring back an ally. Like he could have a bunch of abilities that have long cooldowns but have crazy game-changing potential. The Space Stone is where it gets a little unoriginal because first off, I don't even know how they would fit like more than 6 abilities on one character, but the Space Stone, it would probably just be a portal again, like how Doctor Strange has. But maybe it was to make this a little different, the portal would grant you a little tiny buff somehow whenever you go through it. I don't know, because they do use the Space Stone when it's in the Tesseract to power a lot of stuff. So I mean, if they wanted to make his portal a little bit different, they could just do that, where it gives you a slight buff once you enter it, but it would only give you the buff one time. You can't just keep going back and forth to get more buffs. Oh, and Thanos' ultimate, it would be the snap, bro, the iconic snap. What it would do, it would snap away 3 random enemies off the enemy team. It would just be that broken, but it would take a long ass time to build up. Like you'd probably only get 1 of these a game, just because it'd be way too strong if you can get it multiple times a game. Or if they wanted to really make it balanced, they could make it drain like half HP from some of your allies and then wipe away 3 enemies off the enemy team. Either way, it would still be OP. Also, once he uses his ultimate, it would just reset all his stones and he'd have to grind up to get them again. Thanos would be crazy if they added him. If I missed a stone, let me know. I feel like I didn't say all 6, but yeah, I don't even know how they would put more than 6 abilities on a character. Now, digging back into that Iron Man bag, it could probably add Rescue as another support too. Her whole suit was designed just to be a support character. She'll probably have very little DPS, and just to make her a little bit different, they might make her on the tankier side, having like maybe 350 HP to even 400 potentially if they wanted to, but then they'd give her like really small damage. But she would make up for that by having a lot of CC abilities and support abilities. For instance, having abilities that would like knock away enemies or shield allies, similar to Sue Storm, but just better. Rescue's ultimate could be her maybe just swooping in next to an ally. Like she would be a constantly flying character as well, like Iron Man, but maybe her ultimate, she could could just like swoop down to her allies and then like heal them a bunch over time or something. And maybe she could assist them with little tiny drones. The possibilities are endless with Iron Man characters because they basically just have anything, because Tony Stark is a literal genius. He can build almost anything on these armors. Now for this last character, I don't think I've seen anybody talk about this guy, Mr. Negative, because we already have Cloak and Dagger in the game. Why not have Mr. Negative? He would be a support character and he's always in his negative form because, I mean, why would he ever switch out of it? He would be able to switch between two modes, one being his quote-unquote attack mode and the other one just, well, I guess his normal state. I don't know. One would have a sword and one would just be his hands. When he doesn't have his sword, he would just shoot out negative energy to heal allies. But when he switches back into his sword mode, it would deal damage to enemies. It would just be damage over time, similar to just like poison damage. And if he had an ally with the sword, it would just be healing over time. He could have a movement ability where he would just like teleport into the negative zone for a brief second, similar to magic. And once he's out of the negative zone, he just starts healing over time. Now for his ultimate, I don't really know what they could do, because I mean his powers are kind of weird where he kind of just does anything. So maybe for his ultimate, maybe he could just engulf the map with his negative zone energy, and while everybody's inside the negative zone, enemies will get swarmed with his goons that he summons. Meanwhile, allies are just healing up over time, but once their health reaches full, they will gain bonus health. So yeah, let me know what you think about this idea, because this was just rough draft. I just thought of this like right now. This was a more yap kind of video. If you like these types of videos, let me know. I'd be so glad to make more videos like this where I just talk about things I want in the game, because I'm really enjoying this game right now. And you guys seem to like these types of videos too. My last yap video I made got around 18,000 views, bro. I only have 200 subscribers, so that's pretty crazy. So thank you guys so much for watching these videos. And yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you next time.